Okay, today we're here to discuss the donor advised fund, which is really a private fund for charitable giving. And in my opinion, it is the vehicle that has democratized philanthropy. It retains a lot of control for the donor, in some cases preserves deductibility that might have otherwise been lost, and it allows for the gift to be made in many forms. So let's break it down in 3 easy steps, the first of which is contributing. So once a donor advised fund has been established, it needs to be funded. And that can happen with cash. It can happen with appreciated securities, which might provide even more benefit, or even hard assets like real estate, Bitcoin, or art. Those contributions, once made to a donor advised fund, become an irrevocable gift. So they can't be taken back. Obviously, they were intended to be donated anyway, so that's generally not an issue. And for that contribution, an immediate tax deduction is received. That tax deduction is limited in any given year to a percentage of adjusted gross income. You'll see here that it's 60% of adjusted gross income if the donation was made in cash, 30% adjusted gross income for other assets. The good news is, even if the gift is far in excess of those numbers, the deduction is not lost. It's merely carried forward. So one advantage of a donor advised fund is that it allows people to give in a myriad of ways and in larger amounts that preserves the deductibility that they might otherwise lose if they were giving in smaller amounts over longer periods and not able to itemize on their taxes. So step two, once the money's in the donor advised fund, it can be reallocated, which means if it needs to be sold, if something needs to be sold, which would have ordinarily resulted in a capital gain outside of the charitable fund, inside the donor advised fund, there is no capital gain. In fact, there's no tax for future changes. There's no tax on capital gains or dividends, and that preserves the money for the ultimate beneficiary, which is the charity. So it's a really efficient way to manage money as well. And ultimately, we get to step three, which is why we put the money there in the first place, and that is to donate it to charities. The ease of administration of a donor advised fund is one of its most attractive features. It has very low cost, sometimes as low as $100 per year, or a very small percentage of the assets that are held. The funds can be held indefinitely, so they can be distributed over long periods, even after our lifetime, if we have a successor in place to continue managing the donor advised fund. So the thing that people like about it is they can support one or many charities with no limit to the number of grants and no time frame under which they are obligated to distribute the money. So once again, contribute in the form of cash or appreciated securities and hard assets, invest so it can grow the gift, and three, distribute to one or more charities over a time frame that the donor determines. This is what makes the donor advised fund so attractive. If you have questions, give us a call.